Welcome to the first and last episode of Last Week This Morning with your host, Matt Wedin. Wow, thank you everybody, thank you. Have a great show today. And look at this wonderful crowd.
Woo! Yeah!
Yeah, great crowd. Okay. Alright, so tonight we're going to be talking about how racial stereotypes and racial jokes and comedy affect America and the U.S. society as a whole. But first, let's take a look at what's happening this week in the news. So, earlier this week, we found out that the prices of apples have risen 5 cents over the course of the year. This is insurmountable for us as a country. So here I'm going to cut it to me interviewing a few people about this and what they think. Well, I'm sure you heard about the rising apple prices, so now we're going to go talk to some people about it. Let's go. Hello, sir. Have you heard about the rising apple prices and how they've risen 5 cents over the past year?
What?
Have you heard about the...
I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
So let's go talk to some more people about this. Excuse me, sir. Hello. Have you heard about the rising apple prices and how they've risen 5 cents over the past year?
Whoa, that's crazy, man.
So as you can see, people are distraught over this subject. Yeah, that's serious. Now let's talk about something a little more serious, like the use of racial stereotypes and racial jokes in comedy. Like today, there's a lot of big comedians, Tosh.0, Lisa Lampanelli, Key and Peele, and even like Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, all those guys, they're using racial jokes in their comedy to get laughs. Now, is that right? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out if they should be doing this and how this affects our society in America as a whole. Okay, but first, let's cut to a few clips so you can see what I mean.
Take roll here. Jay Quellen. Where's Jay Quellen at? No Jay Quellen here? Yeah.
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay. So that's how it's gonna be. Y'all wanna play?
What do you call a black woman who's had 7 abortions? A crime fighter.
So chances are you've probably already seen these clips because a lot of people watch comedy, especially these big names. So that's why it has such a huge impact on our society, especially during these times where race has been such a big point of discussion with Black Lives Matter and all the police brutality and shootings going on. Now, since this has such a huge impact on society, is making fun of race a good thing or a bad thing? Like, in one way, it could be a good thing because people will take it as more of a lighthearted issue and maybe will understand that it's not that big of a deal. Race shouldn't be a huge deal like it's being brought up to be in the news. Or is it the bad thing, making it seem like people can just go around making these jokes all the time? So what I've done is I've done a lot of research and I've looked into all this, watching videos and also reading up on reports to really figure out if this is good for us as a society or maybe is it bad for us. And here's what I found. So here's what I think about this topic. Shit. We can cut this out, right? So what I think is the goal of comedy is to lighten the mood and make everything funny, make everyone's day go by a little bit faster and better. And a lot of times comedians put in this racial humor. So I don't necessarily believe it's that bad of a thing, especially for our society, because it's a way for people to de-stress and to laugh about the issue. Stop. And it's a way to bring everyone closer together and make everyone more equal, because they'll see everyone's stereotype and then they'll think, well, we all have stereotypes. And that's true, everyone does have a stereotype, no matter your race or whatever you are. Everyone has a different funny stereotype, and the way comedians do it is they go about it in a funny way to make lighthearted of the issue. Was that right? And I don't know about you, but I've been to comedy events and stand-ups, and when you look in the crowd, you see multiple races, and that's important because comedy is bringing us closer together. And then you have comedians out there like Lisa Lampanelli, and then there's other comedians like Key and Peele, and what they do is they talk about race almost on a daily, nightly basis. So they're bringing everyone closer together by talking about race. Every time I turn on the news, race is brought up every single night, and always in a negative way too. But every time I turn on comedy shows like Comedy Central and all of that, race is also brought up in more of a lighthearted, positive way, which is why I think comedy and race are such a great thing for this society, because it helps us understand that we all have stereotypes, and it brings us closer together. And by comedy exploiting everyone's weakness, it shows that everyone does have a weakness, therefore bringing us together. Because if we all realize that everyone has weaknesses, maybe not the same weaknesses or flaws, but we have those in general, it will bring everyone closer together because they can understand that we're all different, and that difference is what should bring us together and as a whole. And I think that's what comedy and racial comedy is trying to do and trying to say to everyone in society. And as long as these comedians don't just single out one race or one flaw or one weakness, then we should be fine. Because what comedians need to do, and what a lot of them already are doing, is showing every race, black, white, Latino, Latina, Asian, they're displaying all their weaknesses. So it brings us closer together so we can understand that we're all different. And this is why I love comedy, because comedy brings everyone together, no matter who you are. And it needs to just keep doing this. And I think if it does, maybe we can get out of this racial rut we kind of are in. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.